Hello everybody, today we are going to begin with kinematics 1D or motion in a straight line or motion in one dimension. So this is the introductory lecture and we are going to deal with basics and some good numericals at the end. So don't skip this lecture. Let's begin without any waste of time. Okay. So first point is rest and motion. So how do you decide whether a given object is at rest or motion? Simple answer, you stare at it. You stare whether it changes its position or not. Changes its position or not. So you stare at it and decide whether it changes its position. Changes its position or not. Okay, this is the simple way how you conclude whether a given object is at rest or is it in motion. So if it's moving, if it's changing its position, then you conclude that the given object is in motion. And if it's not moving, if it's not changing its position, then you say that the object is at rest. So simple as that. But do you think, can there be a case where a given object is at rest for you but moving or in motion for somebody else? Can there be such a case? Think over it. So the question is, can there be such a case where you decide that yes, this object is at rest, but somebody else comes and says that no, this is not at rest? So can there be such a case? The answer is yes, there can be, and that prompts us the next point, which is frame of reference. Okay, frame of reference. Suppose I'll give you a very easy example. Suppose you are in a train along with your friend. Okay, so the train is moving, it's on its way to the next station, and you have another friend to pick you up. Okay, he's standing on the platform of the next station. Okay, so you are in that train, you have a friend with you, you are both sitting in a compartment, and I ask you to stare at your friend. So you stare at your friend and tell about his state of motion. Is he moving or is he at rest? Suppose he is sitting and you watch him. Okay, his position did not change over time. You say he's at rest. Okay, you said he is at rest. Remember that. And now you have another friend at the platform. Now the train is coming to the next station and he is watching you. He is watching you from the platform. For him, both of you are moving, right? For him, both the train is moving, and along with that, both of you are moving. So what is at rest for you may not be at rest for somebody else. It may be moving for somebody else. So frame of reference is basically point of view. From where do you watch a particular thing happening? Okay. Frame of reference is frame, is like a point of view from where you watch things. Okay. So what may be at rest for you may not be for somebody else. Okay, which means that rest and motion are not well defined. If you go and check out, if you go to moon and look for earth, even the earth is moving, which means that this room is moving as well. But now can you see that? No. So rest and motion are not well defined. This was just a basic introduction, nothing much important in it. Questions don't come up from here. It was to increase your interest in the lecture ahead. Okay, you can note it down if you want to. Now from the next point onwards, the lecture is becoming important. So sit with a copy and a pen or download the notes from website. Okay, so next point is distance versus displacement. So all of you will know what is distance and what is displacement. It's a basic thing, you would have learned it in your class 9th. Okay, so if I ask you to define distance, you'll say the path length, or yeah, the path length covered or traveled by an object in certain time. So covered by a body in certain time. So you give certain time. If I give you certain time and ask you to walk, you will probably cover some length. So that length is your distance by a body in certain time. Okay. Now, what is displacement? Do you remember that? It is the shortest distance from initial to final point. Okay, if I had to use this word from, don't say between, shortest distance between initial and the final point, it is slightly misleading. So use this definition, shortest distance from initial point to final point, from. Okay, I'll tell you the reason why later, just in few seconds later. So you have point A and point B. This is your initial point, this is your final point. I give you some time and freedom to move. So you start from A, but you have to end at B. That is my condition. So you start, you roam, and you come to B. So what is the distance in this case? Probably that the path length that you covered, which is from A you started, you have to measure this entire length that you traveled. Okay, this entire road. So that will be the distance. But what will be the displacement? The shortest distance from initial point to final point. And what is the shortest distance between 2 points? It's the straight line. So from A you draw a straight line to B. So from A to B, this is the shortest distance, the straight line, and this is the displacement from A to B, this length. Suppose let's name it D, from A to B, whatever the length is. Okay, and actual distance was this, whatever you actually traveled. Displacement is just a basic straight line from the initial point to the final. Okay, now let's go for the next point, which says distance is a scalar. Okay, distance is a scalar. What do you mean by scalar? You already know it. Scalars are physical quantities which have only magnitude. Okay, so distance is a scalar. We are not concerned about the direction when we are measuring distance. Suppose I start from here, this end of the board, and I walk till there, that end. Okay, so I walk till here. What is the distance? Okay, it is the length of the board. Suppose it's 1 meter. Okay, so 1 meter is the distance. Now I start from here and I go there and I go there. So what is the distance now? It's still 1 meter. Okay, so no matter if you go from here to here or here to here, the distance remains the same. Okay, it does not depend on the direction, you can see. Point 2 under displacement will be, it's a vector. Displacement is a vector. Quantities which have both magnitude and dimensions are called vectors. You'll already know that. So magnitude we can understand. That the shortest distance, which was the straight line AB in the previous case, so that will be the magnitude. Okay, but what about direction? So the direction is that it starts from initial to final point. So this is the direction of displacement. Okay, so let us draw that drawing once again. A B. So what is the displacement? It is a straight line over here, the shortest distance, which is a straight line, and it's a vector, so you have to show it in this way. So from initial point to the final point, so towards the final point. So this is the direction of the displacement. So in displacement we are concerned about the direction as well. So like if I start from here and I go to the suppose let's take this side to be positive and this side to be negative. Okay, your right hand side is positive, your left hand side is negative. So if I start from here and go till here, I've started from the mid of the board, I'll say, and go till this end, this end. Suppose this will be half a meter, since it was this length was a meter. So this from here to here will be half a meter. So what is the displacement? Half a meter. Okay. Now I again start from here and go here. Is the displacement still half a meter? Think about it. No. The displacement will be negative half, because it's in the opposite direction. We consider this direction as negative and this as positive. So in displacement, direction also matters, and that's why it's a vector. Okay, so you don't need to know complex things about vectors in 1D. While discussing 2D, I'll introduce more of vectors to you. Okay, third important point, I'll say distance can be positive or zero. So distance, as we have already seen, can be positive or a zero. So you stand at the initial point, don't move, so the distance covered will be zero. Even if you don't move after a certain time, the distance will be a zero. Positive in either case, you move here or you move here, the direction does not matter, it will be positive in either case, right? Here the point is displacement can be positive, I'll write it in short form, positive, negative, or even a zero. So it can be positive, negative, or zero. So you stand, in which case it will be zero. Either you stand at the same position, you don't move at all, displacement is zero, because the initial position and the final position is the same. You didn't move. There is no, the shortest distance is zero. Okay, or in one more case, the displacement will be zero, which is that you move about a circle. Okay, you start from this point A and you move about the complete circle and return back to the same point. So you move a certain distance and come back to the initial point. In that case, displacement will be zero. Either you don't move at all or you move and come back to the same initial point. In that case, displacement will be zero, because you started at this point and you came back to this point. So the shortest distance from initial to final point does not make any sense, right? So it's zero. So zero case we figured out. Now positive and negative we also discussed. We treated this side as positive and this side as negative. So moving here was plus half and from here to here was minus half. So in 1D you have to 1D or motion in a straight line, you'll only have motion along a straight line, so you can safely treat one direction as positive and the other as negative. You don't have to go into vectors. Okay, so it makes the task easier. So these are the important points which you can note down, differentiation points among distance and displacement. I hope you have noted that down, so I'll erase it. Now let's go for the next type or next two terms, important terms. So we learned rest and motion, and then distance and displacement. Now average velocity and average speed. So let's go for average speed. So AVG is average. So average speed is defined as total distance, okay, total distance covered or traveled, total distance covered upon total time taken, you would have learned it as distance upon time. Yes, since it's the average, it's over a complete interval, so you take the total distance traveled over that complete interval and that interval total time taken. So this is how average speed is defined. So by knowledge, it's a scalar. Since distance is a scalar, time is a scalar, average speed will be a scalar. Okay, let's go for average velocity, the second term. average velocity, so it will be total displacement upon total time taken. So what is the displacement upon total time taken? So that is your average velocity. So this is how it's defined as. So since displacement is a vector, average velocity will be a vector. Now one more thing about distance and displacement, we could have noted that in the previous scenario also. So we take A and B, you had traveled this way and the displacement was this, right? The shortest distance, the straight line, and your actual path length that you had traveled was this road. Okay, now what can you conclude? See here, so distance, if you see, will be always great. Am I right to say this? Distance is always greater than or equal to displacement. Okay, since this is a vector, we cannot compare that, so I'll take the magnitude or modulus. For now it's modulus in 1D basically. Okay, so modulus, you know what it does. I hope you know that. Okay, I have already mentioned that. Can I say this? So if you think over it, it is correct, because distance is always positive, right? So distance has to measure all the path that you have traveled. Distance will measure all the path that you have actually traveled, and displacement will be the shortest length between 2 points. So you have two choices. You can either move on the shortest path. In that case, distance will be equal to the magnitude of displacement. Okay, distance will be equal to the magnitude of displacement if you travel along the shortest length. But if you choose any other path other than that, it will be longer. It won't be, there is no other choice, right? This is the shortest path, and if you choose any other path, it will be greater than that. Okay, so distance is always greater than or equal to the magnitude of displacement. When is it equal? When you travel along the shortest length. So there was a question in JEEs, I remember that. So they had asked us for the ratio average speed by average velocity. So what will this be? The options were like, will it be greater than 1, greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to 1, or will it be equal to 1, or will it be equal to, or okay, we none of the above. Okay, these were the options. So it's a basic question. It's a very easy question, so I'm not framing it up. So the question was basically this: average speed by average velocity. Now if you know this relation, it's very easy, right? Distance is greater than displacement, the magnitude of displacement. Okay, now you divide this by time and time on both the sides, so you'll get average speed over here. So average speed greater than equal to, when you divide this by time, displacement by time, also you'll get the mod of average velocity. Okay, this was this way, average velocity. And now you can easily conclude that average speed by the magnitude of average velocity will be greater than or equal to 1. So basically average speed will be greater than average velocity, the magnitude, because one of them is a vector and other is a scalar. So you cannot compare them, so you have to compare its magnitude. So these were the points, the important ones. So you can quickly note down the formulas. And then this was a JEE question. These were the options given, the ones those I told you. And this is a very good relation, a general relation. Okay. Ta-dang, 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 ta-dang. Okay, so one more point which I missed out to mention was suppose if you're traveling in a straight line, which will be the case in 1D. So you are traveling in a straight line and you're not changing your direction, not changing direction, not changing direction. Then you can easily say that distance equals mod of displacement. Okay, just feel this sentence, just feel it. Okay, or you can say average speed equals mod of average velocity. So you are moving in a straight line. Suppose this is my straight line, so I'm moving in a straight line. The condition is that I cannot change my direction, so I'm moving in a straight line. I cannot suddenly turn and move backwards. Okay, I cannot go this way since I want to go in a straight line, so I cannot take turns, right? I have to move along my same line. So as long as I move in a straight line and I don't take turns or complete 180-degree or even some angle turns, distance will be equal to the mod of displacement. Just feel it, just feel it. Like I'm moving in the straight line and I cannot take turns, I cannot turn backwards. So I cannot reduce my, what can I say, I cannot reduce my distance between the final and the initial point. Are you feeling it? So I cannot turn and reduce my distance between final and initial point. So distance ultimately becomes equal to the mod of displacement. Not very important. Okay, just you need to use that logic in questions. So I am teaching you that. So as long as you are in a straight line and you won't change directions, then these two relations are absolutely correct. Okay, the idea is that you cannot rotate and cancel, like you cannot rotate and reduce your distance between the initial and the final point. So you have to go in the straight line and without changing direction. So distance ultimately becomes the displacement. Go in a straight line without changing direction. So distance is this, displacement is also this. This is A, this is B. So whatever you, in whichever line you go, A, B. So this is distance, this is displacement. Okay. Okay. So I hope I am clear with that. Let's move to the next point, or problems rather. So we are done with the theory. So that was all, I guess. So that was the only theory we had in today's lecture. So now let's go over problems directly, right? So we have a clock. Why do we have a clock in kinematics? Okay, so this it has a minute hand which is 4 centimeters long. Now the time is 12 p.m. So, and after some time the time passed and it became 12:30 p.m. So they have asked us for distance traveled by the, or distance covered by minute hand, and also the displacement covered by minute hand. Okay, so distance, as you know, it will be easier, it will be half a circumference. This was the distance it covered. It came from, it was 12 p.m, so it was here, and now 12:30 p.m, so from here till here, it came from here till here. So this was the entire path length that it traveled. So what is the distance? It's easy. So distance will be pi r. So if it was a full circle, it's 2 pi r. It's half a circle, so pi r. So 4 into 3.14. So 4, r is 4, and pi we have taken it as 3.14. It will give us 12.56. You can by heart the table of pi. Pi 1 za, pi 2 za, 6.28, pi 3 za, 9.42, I guess. Pi 4 za is this, 12.56. You can. And what about the displacement? Just give it a thought. You can try it. Okay, you try it. So what is the displacement? If you go to see look out for initial and final points only. So initial point was over here A, final point is over here B. What is the shortest distance between them? The shortest length from the initial point to the final, not between. So can you see this? So this diameter, right? This diameter is the shortest length from A to B. So what is the length of the diameter? 8 centimeter. Easy peasy. That is the displacement. So question 1 was very easy. Distance is the entire path length and displacement was the shortest distance from A to B, which is this. You can mention the direction also. Whatever direction they provide you, like they'll provide you, this is j cap minus j cap, so you have to provide the direction also. Or if they ask you for magnitude only, then you can omit this. Okay, this is vector, don't worry, won't trouble you much. So question 1 easy peasy, done. Let's go for question 2. So we have a triangle, I won't say a triangle, a mountain shape curve. This is 37 degrees, so this is 53 degrees. Okay, so now you have started from this point. This is a mountain A to B. So you started at A, went to the peak and came down to B. So this is, I'll say, 4 kilometers and this is 3 kilometers. It's an uneven mountain. Okay, so you started from A, ended up at B. What is the distance and what is the magnitude of displacement? Tell both of its values. You can try it. So very good question. Okay, so distance, many of you might have easily guessed. Distance, path length, right? So 4 kilometer plus 3 kilometer. 4 kilometer plus 3 kilometer is 7 kilometer. This is 4 plus 3, right? And now what about the displacement? Displacement is the shortest distance from initial to final point. So from A to B, what is the shortest distance? Will be a straight line. So from here to here. So the length of this line, how can you find that now? How can you find that? It's easy if you know geometry. Now this is a triangle, right? By angle sum property, let's take this angle to be A. Okay, by angle sum property you can find this angle A. So A plus 37 plus 53 equals 180. This is angle sum property. Angle sum property, you should know a basic of maths if you want to be good at physics. Okay, I hate that, sir. Okay, so 53 plus 37, 80, 80 and 7, 3, 90. So it gives us 90 and 180 over here. So A is nothing but 90. It's a right angle triangle. So this side is perpendicular to this. So it's 90 degree over here. So now can you use the Pythagoras theorem? Easy. So 435 if you know it very well, but if you don't, let's say that this distance is d, distance or displacement, magnitude they have asked, and it's a straight line. Okay, so Pythagoras theorem, you use it. So d square will be this square, 4 square plus 5 square, which 5 not 5, 3 square, which is 16 plus 9, which is 25, and d is plus or minus 5. This was d square, so d is plus or minus 5. Since it's a mod magnitude, we are concerned only about the magnitude. So the magnitude of displacement is 5. 5 what? Potatoes? No, kilometers. Right? So this was a good question. It had you had to use some maths here and there. Okay. Now let us go for some JEE favorite problems. have brought a pattern of problems. Now those problems are on average velocity and average speed. Now let us try some numericals based on average velocity and average speed. We already tried for displacement and distance. Now let's go for average speed and average velocity. So the question is, a particle moves half of the total time journey journey with velocity v1. So half of the journey it moves with velocity v1, and other half of the time it moves with velocity v2. It moves with velocity v2. Okay, I've taken some general v1s and v2, so you can use the final result actually. Okay, so moves with velocity v2. For the other half, find average velocity, find average speed. Okay, so if it's not given how does it move, it means that it moves in a straight line. Okay, so it moves in a straight line. I'll provide you this straight line. So A, B, C, D. So is it the mean? Is it the product upon sum? Is it the twice the product upon sum? Or is it V1 plus V2 upon V1? Or is it, I'll say, V1 plus V2 and upon V1? Okay, you can try it. Since it's the first one, I'll directly do it. You can try it. I'll move aside if you want to. Okay, now let us try. So they have asked us for average speed. So I'll leave some space for the figure. Average speed, it is total distance upon total time, right? This was the formula. So let's try picturing this first. So let's visualize it for making it more clear. So half of the time it moves with velocity v1, half of the time. So let the total time for this journey from A to B, this journey is from A to B, a straight line. The total time required for this journey be t. We don't know what t is. It can be 1 hour, 2 hour, anything. Okay, so half of the time t by 2, which is t by 2, it moves with velocity v1, and other half, the remaining half, it travels with velocity v2, right? So half of the time and not half of the distance. Okay, half of the time. Okay, so let's do it. So total distance, what is the total distance? We don't have any knowledge about distance. Time we have considered, okay, this time we have considered for the total journey to be t, but we don't have any knowledge about distance. So what you do is you express distance in the form of speed into time. This you'll know from your basic 9th standard work, that distance is speed into time. Just like speed is distance upon time, distance is speed into time. Okay, so what I want you to do, this is the first part of the journey and the second part. So for the first part, what is the distance? Speed into time. So v1 into t by 2, right? So v1 into t by 2 for the first part of the journey. For the next half of the journey, this is the first half according to the time, and for the second half, so it is speed into time. So v2 into t by 2. Okay, so total distance is covered, right? This is the total distance, the distance traveled in first half and the distance traveled in second half. What about total time? We have already considered it as t, so this is simple now. So you can take v1 plus v2 by 2, I'll keep it the same, and you'll have, I have taken that t common, right? I have taken that t common, and you have t in the denominator, so that cancels up, and this is nothing but the mean or the average. So it was quite logical though. since it travels half of the total journey time with velocity v1 and other half time with velocity v2, it is obvious that it will be the average, right? It will be the average of the two. It was obvious. Okay, you can note it down, and I recommend you to remember it as a general result. Like if they provide you values here 40 and 60, half of the time it travels with 40 meters per second and other half it travels with 60 meters per second. So all what you have to do is 40 plus 60 upon 2, which is 50 average, instead of doing this whole thing with values. Okay, you can remember the general. Remember, it is half of the time and not the distance. Now let's go for distance. So a particle moves half of the total, we'll say total distance. We are just changing the question. So let's see what happens to the answer. So half of the total distance of the journey with velocity v1, and other half, let's write that properly, other half of the time of the distance, we'll say, since of the distance, other half of the distance, it moves with a velocity v2. Now tell me the average speed. Will it be again the mean v1 plus v2 by 2? Will it be v2 minus v1 by 2? Or will it be the harmonic mean? I guess I'm not pretty sure if it's the harmonic mean, if this is called the harmonic mean. Okay, and d is let's choose half of the harmonic mean. Okay, so yeah, you can go ahead and try it. Since you have already tried one sort of problem of this kind, you can try it. It's easy. 3, 2, 1, let's launch the rocket. I'm not telling you the answer, so let's try it. Okay, this, I guess, C will be the answer. Let's try it. So average speed. Okay, we need to draw the diagram. We want to visualize. So average speed is, you know the formula, total distance upon total time. So it's in straight line, so you draw a to b straight line. So half of the distance, so this total distance, we'll consider it as d. Total distance we are considering at it as d. You can also choose 2d. It will be a wise choice because you are going to break it into half. Okay, no, okay, so if it's not comfortable for you, let's do it with d. Suppose the total distance of the journey is d. Now half of the distance will be this much, right? So this much is d by 2. Okay, d can be anything, 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer, whatever the value is. Okay, so total distance is d, half of the distance is d by 2, so first d by 2, first part, we'll say d by 2, it travels with velocity v1, it's given, and other half, which is also d by 2, it travels with velocity v2. So what can you say about the average speed? Okay, so let's do it. Total distance. Now total distance, we already know it, this time it's d, right? No issues regarding that. But what about time? We are not we don't have the knowledge of time in this question, so you can use the logic, time is distance upon speed. Just like speed is distance upon time, time is distance upon speed. So you use this logic. So split the time into two halves and just add the time, right? Time for the first half and time for the second half. For the first half, what was the time? Distance upon speed. So distance is d by 2 upon speed, which is v1. Okay, time for the first half. Now time for the second half. By second half I mean the second half of the distance. Okay, so again, distance by speed, distance is again d by 2. So distance upon speed is v2. Now if you take this d common, it will cancel with this. Okay, and finally you are left with 1 upon v1 plus upon v2, and you have a 2 over here. So that gives us 2 was at the bottom, 1 upon 2. So 1 upon 2 v1 v2 v1 plus v2, I'll say v2 plus v1, so whatever, v1 plus v2 upon v1 v2. So can I simplify it somewhere? Okay, I'm doing it over here. Okay, I'll do it over here only. So I'm simplifying it over here. So that will go on top, 2 v1 v2 upon v1 plus v2. Okay, so it's the answer is in front of you. It's C, as I said. I think it is known as harmonic mean, but I'm not very sure. So it's the answer is this. Okay, I won't name it. I think it is harmonic mean. It is called harmonic mean. Anyways, you learn in your maths classes what is harmonic mean and all that. Quickly note it down. It was easy, alright? So let's move to something tough now. So let's try the fourth one now, which says, I hope that was third one, right? I don't know. I stopped counting. A point travels in straight line, travels 1/3 of distance, so travels 1/3 of distance with velocity v naught, and the remaining part of the distance is covered with v1 for half the time, and v2 for other half. Okay, so it's the composition of the previous questions. It is mixing fixing now. Okay, so v2 for next half of the time. Okay, so the mean velocity is, or the average velocity, I found it in a magazine. So this question is from a magazine. I think it is from IE Rodov, but I'm not sure. So I found it in a JE magazine. So is it v0 plus v1 plus v2 upon v1 plus v2 plus 2 v0, or is it, can I write it, question will take the entire place. So is it 3 v1 v2 into v0 upon v1 plus v2 plus v0? Don't get frightened by the options, it's very easy. v0 square plus v1 v2 upon v1 plus v2 plus v0, v1 plus v2 plus v0, or D, is it 3 v0 v1 v2 v1 plus v2, okay, v1 plus v2 plus 4 v0, so v1 plus v2 plus 4 v0. You can try that out. Okay, it's a very good question. I think it's from IE Rodov. I found it in the magazine, as I said. It's a good question. I'll remove it one by one. So a point travels in a straight line, noted. Since I need space for the solution, travels 1/3 of the distance with velocity v0. Okay, noted. So you have a straight line. It travels along a straight line AB, 1/3 of the distance. So you divide it in 3 equal parts, 1/3 of the distance. So we'll take the total distance to be D. Or you can take, now I will do that, I will take it as 3D. So since we are splitting it up into 3 parts, so each part will be D, D, D. So 1/3 of 3 will be, 1/3 of 3D is D. Okay, so I did that thing now. The second is the remaining part of the portion. The remaining part of the distance is covered with V1 for half of the time and V2 for the next half. Okay, so the remaining part, which is 2D by 3 or 2D, remaining portion is 2D. This was D, 2D. So D plus 2D, 3D. Okay, for this half of the time for 2D, for this half of the time it travels with V1 and half of the time it travels with V2. Nice composition, right? It's a good question. Find average velocity or mean velocity. Okay, mean means the same as average. Now, how to go about this? Uh, So first, let's go with the formula as usual. So where can I start that? Average velocity is distance upon or displacement upon time. Since it's in a straight line, it's not changing its direction. So distance and displacement are equivalent. Average speed is same as average velocity, whatever. Okay, so distance upon time. So we know, we are sure about the distance, which is 3D. We know the total distance is 3D. We have assigned it. What about time? Time we have no knowledge, means in the first portion we don't have that much knowledge. Second portion we seem to have some knowledge, but let's remove that. So in the first portion we don't have knowledge about time. So what will we do? Time is equal to distance upon speed. Distance upon speed. So in the first portion, which is here, this portion, okay, I'm not marking it now. So in the first portion over here, what is the distance? The distance is D, and T1, I'll say T1 for yeah. So distance is D upon what is the velocity in that part? It covers the first path with velocity v0, right? First path with velocity v0. Now what about the other time? Other time you already know, t by 2, t by 2, very simple. So t1 is d by v0, and this the time for the remaining portion was t by 2 and t by 2. We considered this, right? We it didn't fall from heaven. We considered this. T by 2 it traveled with v1, t by 2 it traveled with v2, but we are not concerned about that v1 v2 now. We just want the time. So what is the total time? T by 2 plus t by 2, which is t. Half plus half is 1. But now there are so many variables here. What to do? So I'll write that time is equal to distance upon speed over here. Distance upon speed for those who copy notes from website. Okay, so what about this t? How can we get this t out from here? Because we want we want to remove this d. Use that idea. So can you say here, if you see 2d, the distance over here, can you write it in the form of distance is equal to speed into time? Distance is equal to speed into time. Write it for this portion. So for the second portion, you are writing distance is equal to speed into time. Distance is equal to speed into time. No. Okay, so for the second portion, use this. Distance is 2d. Now for the first portion, what was it? Now that is also divided. So this is first and this is second, not to confuse with this. So among this 2d is also divided, right? For t by 2 it travels with time into speed, so speed into time. So v1 into t by 2 plus v2 into t by 2. So what you can do from here is get t. So you get t from here, and you're done. So t by 2 is common, so t by 2 v1 plus v2 and 2d. So what do you get t as? T is 4d upon v1 plus v2. So this is a good problem. You need to apply a lot of logic over here. So I'll remove this option C. It is not correct, I know. Yeah, it is not correct. Okay, option C, although it is dimensionally correct if you check. Anyways, so yeah, we got T, so substitute, easy job now. 3d d by v naught. Now substitute for T. Okay, I'll put one question of this sort on the website. v1 plus v2. Now we are no longer left with d. Okay, so the variables that we introduce, that we consider, is cancelled, right? So now again I know option D is not correct, so yeah, I'll remove that. Okay, I hope you have noted that down. So 1 upon v naught plus 1 upon v1 plus v2. Okay, so 3 upon v1 plus v2 plus v naught, v1 plus v2 plus v naught upon v1 plus v2 into v naught. So which is the correct option? 3 into v1 plus v2 plus v naught upon v1 plus v2 plus v naught. Option B is correct. Okay, even the option D was also very close to this. Here, in place of here, there was 4v naught, if you remember. Okay, and so this was overall a good question. You had to apply here a nice logic. So you substituted T from here. You got first you did it very simple, distance upon time. Total distance you considered as 3d. So for the first half it's easy. So time is distance upon speed. Where is that? Time is distance upon speed. So distance, which is d for the first half, upon the speed for the first half was v naught. Now coming to the second portion, the total time we considered it as t by 2 for v1 and t by 2 for v2. Okay, so the total time it was, we are only concerned about the time, so t by 2 plus t by 2 t. Okay, I'm explaining it again so that you don't lose the track. Now we don't want this t, we don't want many variables, we just wanted the answer in form of v. So the idea was to re-express it, right? So we use this logic. Distance is equal to speed into time. So we wrote it for this. So distance is equal to speed into time. We wrote it for that. So 2d, the distance over here, is equal to speed into time. So for the part 1, it's v1 into half of the time and v2 into half of the time. Speed into time, speed into time. Okay, then we took common, we found out t. What was t? We substituted it over here, and luckily d got cancelled. Luckily, not luckily, it is logic that we used. So d got cancelled and we got our answer in the form of v1, v2 and v3. v1, v2 and v0. So this was overall a very good question. I will release one of such questions on the website. Yeah, that's all for today. And let's do the YouTuber kind of thing. Like the video and subscribe to my channel. We are just 7 subscribers away from that 100. Please let me hit that 100. So if you made it this far, make sure you like the video. And we will soon discuss the lecture 2. But before that, we need to build up something on differentiation and integration. So a little part will be added in new playlist. I will notify you about that on my Instagram. Okay, so yeah, that's all for today. Keep enjoying physics.